Well, in 2013, I was run over by a van whilst I was crossing the road in Penton Street, and I broke my back and both legs. My left leg was crushed, so I've got a kind of Meccano set inside my leg, and my right leg, the lower part of my leg, has got a pin in it because both bones were cracked and were sticking out, I think. And so I ended up in hospital for about a month, and then I was in a wheelchair for a while, and then on crutches. But I went back to work part-time after about 3 months, using the crutches and the wheelchair. They had special doors put in the building so that I could get in and out. And then when I arrived, people would rush out and help me up the steps or push my wheelchair in or whatever. So it was all, and it all became quite funny because the initial panel for one of the doors was at a height where if I used my crutches, it would knock me over when the door opened. And everything was just changed around so that I could get in and out of the building easily. I went back. Initially, I went in to have a look for them to sort out accommodation, where I should sit, which floor I should go on, and so on. And then I was thrown out of the building because they said it's not safe for you to be in the building when these things haven't been done. And so I had to leave, and then I went back again. But it was all very, it was tremendous, actually, the work that was put in a very short space of time. I found that astonishing, really. Both the admin staff, security, and the other judges just bent over backwards to be helpful. You know, they'd only have to see me kind of get up from a chair and would help. People were always popping in, admin staff and judges popping into my room to see how I was. The courts were changed so that when I was sitting with other judges, it was easy for all of us to be there. I was having regular physiotherapy, and it was agreed that my physiotherapist could come to work. I didn't have a sight disability or a hearing disability as a result of my accident, so I don't know what arrangements would have been made for that. But certainly everything possible was done to deal with my physical disability at that time, to enable me to come back to work. And I was allowed my enthusiasm. I loved my job, and I was allowed to carry on. I wasn't treated as a victim or someone who couldn't cope. The only time that I was kind of looked down upon was when I went to a legal talk, and it wasn't judges, but it was other people talked to the person who was standing next to my wheelchair rather than to me. But I never got that from any judges or admin staff. The presidents of the tribunals, it was Nick Blake when I started, and now it's Peter Lane, were both absolutely superb. So I couldn't have wished for any better support from either of them. I think the lesson to learn from it is don't be afraid to ask. If something's not right, somebody will be there who can help you through it, either your resident judge or the centre manager, or somebody will be able to sort it out. And it's not just the health and safety people, it's anybody that you work with, either on an admin side or a judicial side. I think that the important thing would be to go and visit as many different courts as possible, both in the tribunal and the court service. I think it's important to try and talk to the resident judges in those courts and also to the admin centre managers, so that if it's not evident as soon as you arrive that there will be accommodation made for you, then you can find out exactly what accommodations would be made. I also think that you can't judge one court by another court. And for instance, some of the tribunal rooms would not be easy to manoeuvre. Some of the ways in which the files are kept and stored are not easy to manoeuvre. But in another court setting, they might be, and it's the same tribunal. I would also speak to, there will be a welfare committee in most of the courts, and I would talk to the person who chairs that to find out what arrangements would be made, what arrangements could be made, and whether it would be possible to sit with a judge who has some disabilities and talk to them about how they've managed during their time as a judge.